Right. It's quite a long time ago since I filmed the last time. It must be something like 3 weeks, I believe. I was quite busy undoing all my stuff, having business to take care of, changed place and everything. And as you can see, there are also many changes in the system since the last time I filmed. Basically, the system has only been powered up once with air cooling, and since then I'm awaiting the components. We're now third week of October, and I'm not expecting the parts to be arriving before mid of November, so still 3, maybe 4 weeks to go, which is quite horrible, but anyway, I can't do anything about it. So where to start? The last time you've seen the case was empty. There was only the front radiator mounted, and right now there's a whole bunch of hardware in it. So maybe I'll start on the top. So just behind here you can see it a little shine through. On top of here there is the Nexus 30mm thick full copper radiator, and below that we got 2 side Gentle Typhoon fans in pull configuration. I'll just maybe bend this over so you can see. I will take off the camera later on and show it to you from underneath. Nothing new on the motherboard side. I choose to fit the rear exhaust fan here. This is a stock fan which came with the case, so it's a fractal design fan. As you can see, I also painted it red. It has really a superb finish. I mean, I will zoom you guys in here. It really looks fantastic. If it's spinning, it has really a nice color. There is the paint job I did is flawless. It's really perfect. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to booting up the system. But yeah, it's gonna take much time. A little down, you can see, yeah, there are also painted the brackets. These are the default brackets, or the standard brackets which come with the Arc Mini. So they were white just before. I Dremeled them, lapped off all the white powder coating, and applied the same red paint as on all the fans, so it blends in absolutely nicely. I did the same with the graphics card. The back bracket here is actually the option you can buy from EK, so it came just as blank metal. I also give it a little scratch with sandpaper. I sanded it and also painted it red, and it looks really awesome if you have a look from the back. So just let me twist that. It's quite heavy, I must say. There. I believe you can see that. So the rear of the case looks really good. I believe I will do the same with the missing graphics card here. However, it will come in, I believe it's called black nickel finish, the finish of the rear bracket of the GTX 690 Hydro Copper. But yeah, I believe it will be just better looking in red. we'll see that later. It's no deal for the moment. Okay, what else has happened here? Still looking at the top, you can see a coolant's quick disconnect, and I've done also the test fitting with the tubing. So coming out of here, there will be a tube running down right into the RAM block, and from the RAM block it will do the loop as I already explained. So nothing new on this side, except maybe that that this loop or this little bit of tubing that will run straight down in a nice bow will look absolutely awesome once it's installed. Okay, next you can see I've also fitted or installed the reservoir. The reservoir here is was really tricky. I've tried like everything to find out the best spot and also to arrange a good link from the res to the pump. So I've had it in this way, I've had it upside down, I've had it in the back, in the front, everything, and it turned out to be this way for the best situation. So you may not be able to see, yes, you can see it actually. Here we have, I will zoom in a bit more, there, and turn on the light, there, more lightning, that's better. Here we got an EK uni holder, 50 mil here, 70 millimeters there, and the same here. So the uni holder here is going right into the back and coming out right here. So the 70 millimeter is here, it goes 70 millimeters back, and the clamp of the uni holder is just here. So I can take off the reservoir, and there you see the construction of the uni holder I did. This is really the best option. I've had the clamps right here, mounted right here, but it turned out to slightly touch the side panel, and I am planning on doing a custom window mud on this panel, so I couldn't afford having anything too near. And after rethinking it, it turned out to be really the best position I can give to this reservoir. Right, where should I continue? Well, let's get on with the pump. As you can see, the MCP 655 branded from H2O-cooled is sitting right down here. It really has a small gap, so there is maybe 1 finger width on each side between the lower radiator and the front radiator. So this is really a tight fit. No way I could have placed a 60 mil rad here. This is 45 millimeters thick. So the absolute maximum someone could fit in there. As you can see, it's placed on the cushion. I haven't taped it down, so the protection here is still there. And this is actually the cushion from Aqua Computer. Yeah, I've had to paint it red also, because yeah, the orange is just not blending in. So I only did 2 sides, 1, 2. The other ones are untouched. If I had known, if I knew before that Phobia does also this kind of anti-vibration cushions, I would have gotten one from Phobia, because they come in black, all black. But yeah, later you always know more. What you can see here on the bottom of the radiator, of the reservoir, is actually a temperature sensor. So this is from Aquatuning. Nonsense. Aquatuning is, by the way, the shop where I buy all my stuff. This is from Aqua Computer also. And that brings us to the Aquero, also from Aqua Computer, the Aqua Computer Aquero, which is sitting right here. You can see the two screws, but that's about all you can guess of it. Maybe we can have a look. Yeah, you see a cable mess behind there, but that's about it. Maybe I will give you a look later on. There is still a white 3-pin connector which I have to get rid of, but yeah, this is not the topic here. Okay, moving on. What else can I tell you? Let's get rid of that cable. Well, let's talk about cable management, because this was really a big deal inside of this build. As you may see, the AX850 is sitting down there, and it's very near to the radiator. So let me just zoom you in. Sorry for that. There you can see the business that's going on. So I'll get a little closer. Let's get rid of these cables. There. So behind here, I believe you can't see it, but what you have to know is there are 2 rows of cables. Yeah, you can actually see it. There are 2 rows of cables. The upper ones just get past the fan, no problem, but the lower ones just almost touch the fan and the radiator. So what I had to do is split the not split the connector, but split the cables. I'll show you that on the 6-pin here. Wait a second there. So what I had to do is like split them like this. So where my finger is now, there is the radiator. Okay? So there's one cable going up and one cable going straight down down to the bottom, and then out to the rear of the case. So only to do that cable management down there took me about, I didn't look on my watch, but it was really a long time, maybe 3 or 4 hours, just to figure out how to do it and then do it the proper way. Meaning clear cable routing, no cable crossing, and yeah, getting everything through that cutout with the grommets. I might be able to show it to you a little closer or from another angle. It looks very clean from the top. So there you, yeah. Poor lighting also, I know, I'm sorry. But there you can see the upper cables just doing the turn. And yeah, disappearing behind there. Sorry for really bad lighting here. There we go. That's more like it. So you see, that's what I want to show you. And just in the back there you can see it going through and I will show you the stuff from the back, because there's also big business going on behind the motherboard tray. Last but not least, that 24-pin ATX power supply. Boy, that also was quite an issue, because as you can see, the 24-pin is higher than the pass-through. You see, the pass-through is just below, and in order to have that nice thick bunch of cable here and not having them all tightened up in one piece and getting round there, I really wanted to have this large like a wave here. In order to have this, I had to do some custom like weaving with some well, I will show you it. I will show it to you once we go to the back. Right, just one thing I forgot to show you or to tell you, just to raise your attention. As you can see here, well, not here, but come on, there, here we got 2 SATA cables, and you don't see any actual hard drives here in the front, I believe, do you? Or you haven't seen any. So that's true, because they are also in the back and behind the motherboard. The upper SATA here is for my DVD drive and burner, and that's about it. So now enough talking about the front here, let's go behind the scenes. Right, I've twisted the beast, and now be aware, because this will look like spaghetti, or even worse, you name it. But this is the best compromise I could possibly do, considering all these modular cables, which on one side are a real pain to manage, but on the other side are really helpful. I'm really sorry also for my bad lighting here. I'll try to get it. Yeah, I can't make it stop shining there. Yeah, so that's a bit better. Contrast is not so good. Anyway, there. Okay, so we stopped at what? The SATA cables, right? So these 2 cables here are the data cables for the Samsung 1TB 2.5-inch hard drive, and here we got the adapter I had to buy for the mSATA Crucial M4 SSD, because as I already said, that it would not fit onto the mini PCIe combo card. Then the 24-pin connector. So as you can see, there is a whole bunch of cable coming out on this lower pass-through. I have made it just like here. This is these are 2 of the PCIe connectors, and these are the 2 other PCIe connectors, this one and this one. So this one are the 6-pin, 2x6-pin for the GTX 560, and these are the 2x8-pin for the upcoming GTX 690 Hydro Copper. Right, I'm undoing everything here. I shall try not to move it too much around, because it's all undoing itself. Then the actual 24-pin is running right here underneath the hard drive. I'll explain how I mounted it later. Doing this bow here, and then this is what I wanted to tell you before. So here I've done a kind of a weaving job, or I don't know how to call it. You will see it from yourself there. This is actually some metal cable with which I managed to keep the wires separated. This way I avoid them to join together and just build a huge bunch here, which would avoid that nice effect I get on the other side from the front. So this also took me quite a while. I think between 2 and 3 hours only to figure out how I would do this. But yeah, once I got it, I mean, you've seen the result. I find it pretty nice, pretty good looking from the front. So it was worth every second to me. Okay, what else is interesting here? Yeah, you can see the CPU connector is running right on top of here and going through there. There is the fractal design fan connector coming out there. There are the Molex connectors, which I will need for the pump, and the Molex connector. There is one going right through here to the front, because the Aquero needs one Molex, and my Plextor DVD burner also need, this one doesn't need a Molex, actually it needs a SATA cable, SATA connector. So there's also a SATA connector running up here. And the same SATA connector is powering, so it's coming out right from the bottom here. It sorry, I believe you can't see that. Yeah, you can actually. It comes right out of here, runs through here in the bottom, connects to the adapter, another one connects to the hard drive. There is one spare connector just behind here, and the last one runs right on top here and connects straight onto the Plextor. Very, very tight fit. The placement of these two hard drives also took a real big while to figure out. But yeah, everything fits. I have no problem at all putting the back panel on. I don't need to force, I don't need to compress it. No, nothing. It really turns out to be perfect. It's crowded, it looks messy, but it's as good as it can get. Or it's the best I can do, I'm afraid. Right. Also, here you can see the SATA cable makes a little tiny little loop here, goes down, back again, around here, and connects to the motherboard. And the one from the mSATA SSD, you can't even see it. Something you might be able to see, yeah, you can see it there. I've put a thermal probe right there. So this is a thermal probe which I placed right underneath the SSD, and I was always wondering how hot an SSD gets, because they don't seem to have any thermal probe built in, unlike normal hard drives or standard hard drives. So you can also see I've done the sleeving here of the front panel connectors. These are the front panel connectors running through there. Two cables from the upper fans, and this fella here is actually the flow meter connector, which is going to be plugged onto the Aqua computer flow meter which I got here, and this flow meter will be fitted right about here, yeah, this way, right underneath here. So this is also as tight or as near as it could get there. But for this I need my fittings, which will not arrive. Okay, so now I have to show you something else, because I've done something quite interesting which you don't see every day. But for this I need to turn it around and maybe even, I think it's gonna work this way. It's on top there. There you see. There. It's the mini PCIe combo card. I will get you some light in there. Okay. So as you can see, there is some red tape on it. On top you can see the Wi-Fi module, and there my camera is losing autofocus. You can see here on the very top of it is the Wi-Fi module. These tiny little cables are the antennas which go out right above it. But what I want to tell you is basically about this red tape there. I will try to give you a better look. I'm sorry for what's coming. It will be moving quite roughly because I'm not going to zoom back. There you can see the tape. Okay, so despite the shorter Wi-Fi module, I wasn't able to fit this combo card next to the MOSFET block. So what I did is I lapped it down like 2 millimeters. Okay, so I will show you the tool with which I did that. Just let me mount my camera back on my tripod. There, sorry for the shaking. There. And now for my tool. So here it is. That's what I used for. That's what I used. A little less light. And yeah, well, you can see it. That's what I used. I just put it down and moved the card around. So the tool was actually static, and I was moving the card with my bare hand. And what happened, or the reason why I had to tape the card, is that after the lapping was done, I could see on this side there was copper looking through, and I took my multimeter, and it turned out to be something which I expect like the grounding, because I measured there was electric flow from like each pin from the connector to this rear surface. So despite the block is the water block here is non-conductive, I thought it was much safer to put some electric tape on it and really avoid any contact of electric material with the surrounding environment. So I hope I didn't bust anything, because yeah, I was really aware I could damage something. I am aware this is a bad procedure, and I really hope when I boot up the system that it will work. But before I boot it up, yeah, I can't know, and only cross fingers. So, I believe that's it for this episode. There's pretty much everything done and everything said. The only thing I have to do, or I am still planning, is that window cutout, which I don't know yet how to do. I have several ideas, but yeah, it hasn't worked out well. Maybe I do a separate video on that. So I'll keep you guys updated. I totally forgot to tell you how I mounted the two hard drives in the back of the motherboard tray. So what was involved, or what is involved in this mounting, is actually only that plastic tube and some standard, what are these, M3s? I believe these are M3 screws. Let me double check that. Yeah, the diameter is M3 for sure. Yeah, 3mm thick, and this is 12mm long. So M3, 12mm long, and some spare tube. So what's with the tube? Well, simple. I cut off little bits of, I believe it was like 7mm or something. So I will do this right here. So you need straight edges on each and every side. So this is about straight. And then I took off 7mm. I'm not taking any measures here. This knife is very, very sharp. Right, so I got a small piece of tube here, and then all I did is, well, okay, I had to screw, to drill some holes in the back panel also, but once I drilled the holes in the right place, I just took the screw through the hole, put the piece of tube over it, and then screw it into the hard drive. So the back panel would be like here, so, and then the rest of the screw would drive into the hard drive, and the tube is just providing me enough space, so it's acting as a standoff. It's just providing me enough space to route the cable underneath it, and therefore protecting itself. The hard drive is protecting itself this way from being crushed or having pressure from the rear back panel, compressing cables that would cross each other and being too thick for the back panel to fit back in place. So yeah, it gave me quite a headache before I figured out this solution, and yeah, fortunately it turned out to be good. So here you got a nice little figure, or a nice hint on where and how to mount your 2.5-inch hard drives or SSDs if you are into small form factor and don't have any hard drive cages left whatsoever. Okay, wish you guys a good night.